So you said if you do 10 shows in 10 nights that you might be a little bit different on each show, and your nickname is the Lunatic Fringe. So how much of what we see on TV is the real Dean Ambrose, like in real life?
I mean, pretty much, I don't want to go to the ring and try to play a persona or be something that I'm not, because I think the worst thing I could do is go out there and try to come off as something that I'm not.
Yeah.
Because people choke on that, and you know, sometimes you want people to hate you, and you know, but me, I'm just gonna go out there and be me, and it usually works for me because that's an authentic presentation of me as a person and as a performer. And if I go out there and try to be Mr. Pose guy, or go out there and try to be Mr. You know, give a long-winded promo and, you know, talk forever and, you know, give a bunch of, you know, if I go out there and, you know, try and give speeches and stuff, you know, it's not going to be, you know, it's not me, you know, I talk like I talk, I act like I act how I act, I walk like I walk, and, you know, that serves me well, because I think that endears you to people, because you're not trying too hard, you know, like, if, you know, people like me, cool, if they don't, then, you know, I really can't worry about it, all I can do is do what I do, because the worst thing I could do is pretend to be something that I'm not, or try to come off as some, you know, fancy or bigger than I am, you know, because I like to think I'm pretty cool just the way I am, you know.
Good stuff. All right, so Survivor Series on Sunday, you got Bray Wyatt. You guys were involved in a match earlier this year where the crowd was screaming, "This is awesome," before it even started. So how are you guys gonna top that, or do you even think about that when you kind of?
Well, a guy like me and a guy like Bray Wyatt, I think we're both very not easily categorizable, and you know, we're two atypical guys in the way we think and the way we do business in the ring. So when you put us on a stage like that, you know, with the kind of the vitriol that has been spewed between the two of us, and kind of there's a lot of tension hanging in the air, and not a lot of good feelings between us, and you know, we've had a lot of run-ins with Bray Wyatt in the past on a lot of different levels, and you know, singles and tag team and whatever, from, you know, every small armory around Florida, even back in the day. But so you put us on a stage like Survivor Series, and, you know, we're creative guys, and I'm always, you know, my brain is always twisting and turning with all kinds of horrible, crazy things I can do to people that I've never been seen before, and I'm always trying to do something that has never been seen before, and I like to, I always want to give people, you know, what they don't expect, and I don't know if anybody has a particular vision of what they expect in this match, and I really, you know, I don't really yet either at this point. I just know that you get a mind like mine and a mind like Bray Wyatt, and you put those chemicals together on a stage like Survivor Series, and it's, you know, anything could happen. It's likely to explode. So, you know, something memorable is going to happen in Survivor Series. You know, whatever goes down, it's going to be worth talking about the next day.
Gotcha. And that's going to be on the WWE Network, which is free for the month.
Yeah, free in the month of November. You know, if you you know, if you have never seen, you know, a WWE, you know, pay-per-view, if it's you know, I just didn't want to, you know, part with that, you know, $50 or whatever it used to be on pay-per-view. You know, now we do our big events, you know, on WWE Network, which you can watch on your iPad, on your computer, if you got Apple TV, which I just recently got, and am so happy with Apple TV. Apple TV is so cool, so convenient, and you know, everybody's watching things on demand nowadays. You know, nobody just sits in front of the television and sees what's on. But WWE Network, you know, it's $9.99 a month, and if you're a wrestling fan of any era, I mean, there's so much content on there, you know, and I'm like an obsessed wrestling fan, so like I'll just sit there for hours and watch old wrestling, and, you know, I'll look up stuff, and I'll just randomly pick something and watch it, and I'm always, you know, you relive your, like, you know, childhood stuff that you watched wrestling, and so if you like that, you know, there's endless content, you know, but you know, the current content now and the NXT product, which is like a new thing, the next generation of guys. It's kind of like the AAA. You know, you can see that on the network. But and it's $9.99 a month. You know, super well spent if you're a sports entertainment fan. But if you just want to check it out, it is free in the month of November, so you can catch Survivor Series totally free.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I used to, you know, like, you know, we'd pool our money together. You try to unscramble the signal on somebody's television to watch, you know, a Survivor Series or an event like that. You know, you go to Hooters or something and try and, you know, look in the window, you know. But so the links I've gone to watch a Survivor Series or something like it in the past, it's astonishing to me that, you know, you can watch it for free.
Yeah.
So all you gotta do is go to WWE.com and, you know, you can check out the WWE Network for a whole month in November, and you can catch the Survivor Series. So, you know, it's a, you know, maybe a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a wrestling fan. Certainly is something I would have salivated over and took advantage of when I was a kid. So, you know, if anybody in your family is a wrestling fan, you know, pretty cheap gift. You can get them for an early Christmas present. You know, it doesn't get any cheaper than free.
Right.